Tell me about the town, Cincinnati. Are you down because of what the two losses, the two major losses?
Oh yeah, I would
Right.
say yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, if you ask me, I think people have just they. Let's put it this way. Yesterday morning when I was on the radio, there were people calling in 3 hours before the game wanting Marvin Lewis fired. So you can imagine where everybody is today. I mean, it's just.
You could point out all you want about 5 straight playoff appearances, but they'll point out to you they never got past that first round, and they're not happy with what's going on. And when you lay that on top of the Reds having a miserable season, it's the sports teams greatly affect the whole attitude of this town, and I imagine it happens in Baltimore as well.
So how's it running with Marvin now? What's the take? What are you hearing?
If you don't count the vote of the owner, I would say it's probably like 100,000 to 1.
Yeah.
That would include Marvin's wife, who probably would vote for him. Marvin doesn't do well with the media, and unfortunately, that's how most people see Marvin. And then when you compound that with his playoff record and with the fact that this season is going south, Marvin's coming out of the hole a little bit. But, I mean, as far as a coach, I think he takes on far too much heat, takes on far too much water than what is deserved, because I think he's a pretty darn good coach. I really do. And you look at some of the reclamation projects he's taken on, and Burfict would be a great recent example, but there have been others. He's been able to craft teams out of them. I think he doesn't get his due dessert, but John, I think you'd agree with this. On most teams, Marvin Lewis would have been fired in 2008.
Easily. Mike Brown just isn't your kind of owner. I think what they have to do is, again, if the way this season has gone, you have to look at the overall structure. Who's evaluating the talent? Who's signing the talent? Who's figuring out who we let go? There's more than Marvin Lewis as far as to be considered after this season.
And who would you look at? Who would you bring in an offensive mind? I know Marvin's got all his defensive background. Who would you look at? Who could replace Marvin Lewis?
Well, it would have to be a very special person, because it would have to be somebody that would come in with limited control.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're not going to be able to sign off on personnel. You're going to have to take assistant coaches that have been with this team for a while because the owner likes them. And you're not really ever going to get to a point here. Marvin's here now, but somebody coming in, you're not going to be able to get to a point where you're going to go into a draft day with a first-round pick and say, this is the guy I want, and be assured you're going to get him. It just doesn't work that way here. The family runs everything here.
Yeah, and you probably know, Jamie, is that it probably will be somebody we've not heard of very much. He's going to be an assistant coach. A lot of fans here had hoped that Marvin would have left a couple years ago and let Mike Zimmer take over as head coach. Then last year, I think a lot of people would have liked to see Marvin get kicked upstairs and let Hugh Jackson take over as head coach. So that's how it goes. The assistants always look a lot better than the head coach.
That's interesting. Would Marvin go upstairs? Could he be Mike Brown? He could be the general manager. Mike Brown give that up?
That's not likely.
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think that's how. I think when Marvin's done on the sideline, he's done. But, hey, we're all day to day, right? We're all day to day.